It's April 1st, 2022. I'm gonna do a little short walkthrough here for you on the electrical system on your truck that is powering your hose reels and your heater. So we start here at this battery. You have dual batteries on this truck. So each of these reels, as they're running, pull about 12 amps. You should be able to run all these reels consistently for an hour before even draining one battery. You've got plenty of reserve capacity here, so it shouldn't be an issue. I mean, obviously you're not going to be running all these hose reels all at the same time for an hour at any given time, so your battery will charge every time obviously you start and run the truck. But power comes from here. This is 12 volts DC. Power comes from here out this cord. This is a 1/0 cord. Comes over here. You have a what's called an A&L fuse block. An A&L is the type of fuse. It's a very large fuse. You size a fuse for the wire size. This is 1/0 cable here, capable of carrying about 250 amps. So you have I think a 200 or 250 amp fuse. I don't remember what I put in there. I had some spare fuses for you that I've put in your glove box here, along with another cover and a spare. This is a circuit breaker, which I will show you later. And yep, 250 amp fuse. You can find these anywhere. Auto parts stores, Walmart I think carries them. If you have a stereo store local to you, you can find them there. Electrical supply houses, online, Amazon, stuff's all over the place. So wire comes out from the battery. It's fused right here at the fuse block. Runs under the truck, comes into the side box here. And I will pull this off. Nice little cover here, so everything is protected if you want to store something in there. And this is your main wire, comes in here. This is a copper bus bar, and it comes off. Each individual leg comes off of this bus bar, goes into a circuit breaker. And these are all labeled. This is reel 1, reel 2, reel 3, reel 4, reel 5, reel 6, and then this is your heater. You can see everything's labeled there, so you can't screw anything up. I'm going to try to get a drawing made for you by the time you pick this up. I don't know if I'll have it done then, but at some point in time we will have a diagram made for you, so you can like have this on your computer or something like that, easily access it if you need somebody to troubleshoot. There are individual buttons on top of these breakers, so if for whatever reason one of your reels fails, pull this cover off and make sure that that circuit breaker is not tripped. If it needs to be reset, the button will stick up and you can just push that button back down and it will reset. Obviously, if there's a problem within the wiring, the motor or something like that, and the circuit breaker doesn't reset, you will need to troubleshoot further. So power comes into the circuit breaker, comes out of the breaker, goes into these solenoids. These are just basically large relay switches. There is quite a bit of an inrush of current, about 25 amps when you first push a button on these things, and most normal wire can't handle that. So power comes in here, and then you'll see these green wires here are actually the switches on the hose reels that will power or basically turn the reels on and off. So when you push the push button on the reel, power comes out and then comes back in through the push button on this side. And this is basically like a switched wire to tell this solenoid or relay to go ahead and close and energize the circuit. So when that happens, you push that button, power comes in here. This switch, relay, whatever you want to call it, closes and sends power here out to each individual reel. Your heater obviously just has its own switch. It does not have a push button. I will show you that in a second here. Just stick this back on here. These are just 1/2" nuts here, so any 1/2" ratchet, wrench, etc., whatever you want to use to pull these off, you can do that. Do not throw anything in here without this cover on, obviously, because you can, if you have something metallic, it can short circuit. And that closes. And then obviously here are your reels. Whatever side the motor's on, the push button's on the other side. So you push this push button and you can actually hear the solenoids in there clicking. That's them closing. Like I said, it's basically a very large relay. If you've ever heard a relay close, it clicks. It makes a clicking noise. So this closes the relay. sends power up to the hose reel, and it does its thing. You can see they work pretty nice, actually. I want to caution you, be very careful with these hose reels. I don't know what it is. Henne reels, when they stamp these reels, they do not deburr any of the edges. I cut the hell out of my hands assembling all this stuff, so be very careful reaching around these corners, reaching up here. If you're grabbing on these to climb up into the truck, be very careful. It's pretty nasty. You'll notice I've got protection here anywhere I have a wire that might touch any part of this, just because of that reason. So here's where all your connections are made at the reel. Each reel has its individual ground wire. Again, this is the same 1/0 cable that's up from the front running into the back. This just grounds to the chassis, and then each individual reel grounds to the frame, and then you've got your power, which comes into the box here. And again, here everything's labeled, so if you need to pull these connections apart and repair something, you can easily see how everything goes back together. And everything's run underneath and up in, so everything's protected. Everything's running some conduit there, so you don't have to worry about anything coming into contact. So there's all the reels working. Oops, I don't need that, sorry. And then over here, we've got your heater. Turn your heater on, obviously does nothing. Here's your thermostat. This will control the temperature at which this thing comes on at. I'm gonna shut this off right now. There is a manual circuit breaker here, and there is also a circuit breaker which is labeled in your wiring over there. So you see over here, I'm gonna turn this on for you. This will not actually activate until you have pressure here, and this pressure switch senses pressure. So if you leave this on, be very careful, because you can have this on anytime, at any time. So make sure you leave this off. If this is powered on, this relay will draw a very, very, very minimal amount of current, but it will still be drawing current. So be aware that that is an issue if you forget and leave that on. But when you want to use this, obviously hook your hoses in, turn this on, and then once you get pressure, I will show you here now by jumping this out. Everything, I have to turn the thermostat on. Thermostat obviously shuts everything down when it reaches its set point. You hear everything comes on. And now here, I'll show you again. I will turn and the green light comes on. I'll shut the thermostat off. Make sure my switch is still on. You got nothing. Turn the thermostat on, and you'll hear this click. I don't know if you'll hear it on the camera. You hear that little click there? Oh, that's the thermostat turning on and off. Boom. And again, everything's labeled here, so you know how everything comes up in. And that's it, guys. That's how simple your wiring is. Again, like I said, I will try to get you a drawing made. I don't know if I'll have it done by the time you get here to pick up the truck, but you will have something for your needs as soon as we can. Thanks.